Alright, we're back. And today, we're gonna do a little building. Um, Last time we got some iron out of the swamp, and we brought that back. Not all of it is smelted. Um, but I got some of it smelted up so we can start making things with that. We can start building a little bit more. Um, I did disconnect the swamp portal because we just had that one little island that we were going around. Um, and I think whenever we head back, we're going to be able to go over there. I didn't go over there initially. I wanted to get the iron back. So I'll probably be making a long ship out of some of it so that we can go ahead and get back over there faster when we're ready for that. I'm going to reorganize a few things. First, let me check. I don't... Actually, you know what? Let's find out. Let's just find out, alright? Okay, I put a piece of coal in there. If I break it, does it drop the coal? Sure enough. Okay. I wasn't sure. So, we're gonna break these, and we're probably gonna end up reorganizing this in some way. Probably gonna honestly move that too. So, I'm just gonna put these over here for now. Did this fit? Yeah, it sure can. We're gonna be moving some stuff around because what I want to do is make a bridge. Well, it's got a bit of stuff in it. We'll leave it there for now. I want to make a bridge over to that area. You see, I've prepped. I have quite a bit of wood sitting over there, and I've prepped a little spot for this to aim because over there across the way is where I want to build a bigger base. So I'm going to clear some of these things in the way. I suppose we could probably leave that rock there. We probably want to get rid of this tree. Not really going to want that there. And let's just flatten out some terrain. That rock should raise up a little bit. And we'll want to add a bit here, I guess. It's just a little. And I don't know how far I want to even work this over there, because it's probably not going to be a huge issue to make this bridge, right? It's not excessively far that we need to go. And we've got all the required technology here. But so I did get a few comments. One of them was saying I should try and live stream a base build. I'd consider that in future. I think this time I'm just gonna record, but that does sound fun if we have any like much larger builds planned. If I've got any bigger projects that I want to work on, I'll probably see about doing that. Right now, we're just gonna focus on making this look a little more normal. I probably am gonna get rid of this rock. But this is probably a good enough place to start that bridge, if any. What did I put here? Oh yeah. See, this is the reason, right? We're making another base, is because this is cute and all, and I'm gonna leave it here. We might decorate it more a little bit. We might pop by, but you know, honestly, the little farms can be here, and I might you know, make some adjustments. but for like main storage and crafting and all of that, we're just gonna need to you know, we need to upsize a little bit. So let's take some wood and figure out how exactly we're gonna do this. Ooh, yeah. So, we don't have the best angles here. So, what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get rid of this. We're gonna extend this over this way a little bit. I did put those rocks away. I think over here, yeah. So we're gonna expand over this way. And how is this looking? That's looking all right. This feels like the middle, right? Yeah. So maybe we put something here, but we don't need to, we won't end up expanding that. And now we're definitely going to get rid of this rock. Because it's going to be a little bit more in the way. Okay. So we're gonna, I guess, put one of these here. And let's see, you know, see what we're looking like for support. Yeah. No, it doesn't lose it too quick. But do we want to do just a flat bridge? Hold up. We can make it more interesting than this, right? Surely. We got a whole bunch of materials here, so why don't we try for a little more, I guess. So I got that. We could honestly drop these down. Probably use just the regular one there. Yep. So the thing about core wood that makes it really good for building, at least early game, and I guess, you know, on into the future, it's not necessarily that it's stronger, but the point is that it's taller. So it's not any stronger than the regular wood beams, but your typical wood beam, you know, is only half as tall, right? Can I get that? Just that wood beam? Of course not. Anyway, wood beam's half as tall. So if you're doing this, right, you're reaching the same like stage of structural integrity, but you're reaching it twice as high up, right? So using the core wood does give you more structure if if what you're trying to do is build taller. So we're gonna see if we can't get away with some things with just the core wood. We've got the wood iron beams available to us if we really want to. So we can try that, but we shouldn't need it. And does that reach? It does. It doesn't look like it does, but it's counting it as ground. So I'm we are getting the advantage of it being there, but I'm just gonna do that because, you know, we don't want it to look like it's floating. And we don't really have to take into consideration like boat travel because we're not boating through this. Sometimes though, like, you know, if you want to build a bridge over a river and you still want to be able to boat through it, if it's that big, you might want to consider using the iron beams. Just so you can like have that gap in the middle. And we're out of wood. I shouldn't have left most of my wood over there. But we're just gonna do this. And I'm just winging it. I'm not paying too close attention. That's gonna be red, isn't it? Or yeah. Sun's getting a little low. I can sleep so it's a little bit brighter out. But yeah, now that we've got a little more access to some building materials and techniques, I want to make a little bit of use of that and do more building episodes. Of course, it's raining. It's raining and these are gonna get all damaged, which is why, you know, if I can manage it, I would like to make a sort of covered bridge. Let's see, 1, 2. Is this even gonna help if I do this, right? Well, I'm not gonna be able to place that, I don't think. But if I do this, and I do that, oh, well, I completely missed the purpose of what I was doing there. We need to go over one more. And I said, you know, hey, let's sleep and we'll make it a little bit brighter out. And now it is, of course, darker. So, you know, doesn't always go to plan. Let's do that. You know, it probably looks better with these in there. It looks more stable anyway. Is it there? Yeah, that is where we're looking. We did get a fair bit of core wood, so we should be able to play around with this a little bit. We're gonna need to put one more on here. And they look like they place a little bit offset, which is kind of odd, but I'm pretty sure they're fine. We'll try to pretty this up a little later, I guess. Does that make it any better? It makes it a little bit better. So I guess we're not building any... Maybe we're not building any taller than this. But I want to put a roof on it, so we might have to use the wood iron beams. Oh, but you know what might help, actually? Yeah, maybe? No? It seems like it does. Oh? Made that one better. Okay. How's that look? Yeah, it looks alright. But, I think we're gonna run into an issue with these. Or maybe not. Maybe this looks fine. Oh. We had more. Maybe we can line it in these. You know? Oh, that doesn't look the best. Do we really only have top and bottom snaps there? I guess, they, you know, they kind of look like tree branches that way. Like, it's a little bit clunky, but I don't know. Maybe it kind of looks good. And we can put these there. So I just want to make easy access to this hill over here. You know, so we can run back and forth. Let's run over here a bit. We can use the rock. There's a little trick, by the way. If you want to place down a workbench, but you don't want to, like, flatten the area, right? You normally need a flat area of terrain to place a workbench, but if you just put it on a rock, floating, like, you know, like that, it'll place. So if you've got a rock nearby or something like that, you can kind of game the system a little bit. Okay. Oh, and we're gonna need to repair that soon. This is only a tier 1 hammer, a level 1 hammer. Why are we building with just a level 1 hammer? Why don't we make that better? It's just wood and stone. Yeah. Okay. So we'll see. Does that look odd? I'll mess with the core beaming later. Let's see if I can place this. I suppose so. I guess we'll fall down. No fall damage. Interestingly enough. I guess we can keep building across with these. We do this and then one more, we can make it symmetrical, which will hopefully still stand up. And that reaches ground. It's a little detail here, but yeah. Looks a little better. Okay. Do that again over here. Again, you can use Q and E to cycle snapping points. And I don't know if I mentioned it before, but you can also just hold shift, right? And you will completely ignore the snapping point. So you can free place it, which you can do a lot of really goofy stuff with. So all these places you could put this beam. You can make quite a few interesting structures that way. Well, shoot, can I even? Surely I can build off of this, right? Can I reach that? Sure can. Oh, it doesn't like that. I'm just gonna build this side. I'm not sure what the deal with that side is. Maybe no. That's fine. I guess we'll just go 3 each time. Right? Or no, we went 3 in the middle, we can go 2 over here. Didn't quite reach. Let's just do this to be sure. Yeah, so that is a little bit different. Okay. Let's start building planks across. Which I guess we can do on this side. I think as we get a little bit more structure built up over here, right, we'll be able to do this. We should be able to do this, which means we can do that. Oh. Yeah, that's definitely not going to bother anybody that these are placed just a little bit wrong, right? See? We'll just use a little extra here, and, you know, no one will notice what we did. That's fine. I can live with that. Okay. Boom, just like that. And we've got more core wood over here we can grab from. So. We'll just keep going. Part of the reason I'm not live streaming it is because I don't always get a lot of long breaks. Because, you know, even on my days off, there are things I need to do. And right now, I'm working full time, and I don't find a lot of those gaps that would be good to just, you know, sink some time into live streaming. So at least for a little while, it'll probably be just videos, unless I can find a good gap, you know. Because that would be fun to do. It's something I've wanted to do. It's something I've tried to do a couple of times, but you know, just never really got into it on a schedule. Okay, so this is pretty functional. As long as we can. You know, if I can... I just thought if I could place it fast enough. We gotta place it from there first. Yep. Okay. Get that. Yep. You know, we're gonna put some of these in here because I don't like the way that intersection looks. And that is a little bit better. So this could suffice, all right. But really, it might work out all right. What I'm gonna want is for this to be covered. And I wonder, how bad is that looking? How bad is this looking? Let's just try some things. We don't really need to use the core wood this way though. That's kind of a waste of core wood, I think. If we're not gonna build it that tall anyway, there's no point. It should be the worst in these couple of spots. So the roofing might not stand up immediately. Although that's not terrible, you know? That's not horrible. So let's just keep going, and if it turns out it's terrible and it doesn't work, we'll find out. That's core wood. Okay. I want to cover it because in the rain it's just gonna, you know, turn green. Like some of those stairs over there, you see how they're like that kind of green color. Wooden structures that aren't counted as roof pieces will degrade to half durability if they get wet or they're left in the rain. They won't just outright break, but it's not the most visually appealing. So we're gonna try, see if we can't cap this off. Which it is just going to break at some point, isn't it? This isn't inspiring a ton of confidence, but we'll keep going. We got someone mowing a lawn, so hopefully that doesn't come through in the recording, although it might. You never know. Okay. Oh, this side doesn't have a that. And there are a lot of different ways that you can roof things. Hopefully this step down doesn't... Yeah, no, that should be fine. So, you know, don't be afraid to just try some stuff out. The building in this game is very freeing. You can kind of just put stuff around, and the fact that you don't lose any of your resources, right, when you're destroying things, you know, doing a little demolition, you get everything back 100%. You don't have to use materials up to repair your tools. There are a lot of other survival games that don't give you those luxuries, I guess, and it's nice when you can just kind of try things out and not worry about it. It's kind of short, but I want to see if I can get away with doing this without any beams. Because if we can, that'd be pretty cool. Okay, now how are we gonna navigate the step down? Are we gonna do that? Okay, so let's try doing this and then adding additional beamage. That's the wrong angle. There's still a gap. Is it an acceptable gap? Is it a gap we're okay with? Do we want to... I don't know how that looks. That looks a little bit silly. Kind of like it got copy-pasted. Maybe we just auto-default to the higher up one. Maybe we do that. Let's go with this for a little bit and then see. Yeah, there's a bit of a weird thing going on there. Maybe maybe we just bump this one up by like a meter. Pretty sure that'll work. But it's coming along. We'll see if we can get those middle pieces on there or not, without a little bit of help. A lot of the time also, if you're just barely missing a little bit of support, if like the very top centermost piece isn't quite coming along, you won't even really have to use that much in the way of iron. You can just put a few going up the top just to get you that little extra bit of support. that you need, you know, from the ground, and you can get away with it. Hey, out of my way. I guess we'll sleep. I also have decided that I'm probably only going to be doing the Valheim episodes every other day. I'm going to be fitting in some Hades and maybe some other things as well. You know, other days of the week. So I'm going to kind of figure out what that looks like. But just because the Valheim videos, while it's like the main reason I'm starting doing this, they do take a while to make. I guess just the nature of it being a survival game, with a lot of, you know, resource collection and, you know, running around finding things. There's a lot of downtime, and, you know, I want to make sure that what you're watching is, I guess, a little bit interesting. So I'm not gonna try to, you know, pass off everything as something that needs to be in the recording. But there's a lot of, you know, there's a lot of just grinding, a lot of, you know, tree chopping, a lot of this and that, and that takes time to, excuse me, I'm trying to place this here. This bridge is not open for public use. It's a construction site, sir. Yeah, so I want to replace some of those days with some things that I think are fun and also don't take as much time to make. So, did I place this weird? I sure did. Let me place it one up so there's a little... Yeah. So something like Hades, which is a lot more story-driven, I guess, I think is really nice. Because I don't have to worry too much about empty space. It's all gameplay or dialogue or story or, you know, whatever. So I can fit a few of those recordings in and still kind of manage to fill the week. So every day there's going to be something. Now, if you're here more for Valheim, I definitely get that. There are a lot of YouTubers that I would watch typically for just one thing. And I definitely get that. If it's something you're familiar with and you like, then that's great. If you don't really know what Hades is, you know, give it a try. See what you think. I think it's a great game. Hades 2 just came out of early access. It's also, I think, a great game. So I have played these games before. I haven't beaten Hades 2. But I do really like... Did I even do the thing I said I was going to do? I sure did. Yeah, it's just something else to put on the channel that I enjoy that isn't going to take as much time for me to edit. Because I want to make sure that I can get, you know, that I can get something out every day, and, you know, avoid kind of getting burnout on one thing. So I think having a little bit of variety is good, and it'll make it so it is a little easier to have regular content. All right, how am I feeling about this? It looks alright. It looks okay. I'm still uncertain about this gap. I might just fill it with beams and call it good. This is also just floating, so maybe we put a little yeah, let's make sure we're not adding any weird twisting beams. I wonder... No, that's definitely not going to work. It's probably just going to have to be the beams. If I do that, huh? What if I just eyeball it? What if I hold shift and eyeball it? What are you gonna do then? You know what? That's probably okay. Yeah, I'm satisfied with that. I'm gonna need to add the core wood beams up the side of this thing though, because we are missing that on the other side. Slide down. Hold up. Let's make sure we're getting symmetrical here. Okay. And we've got the ones on the sides because we were using those for support. We just need these ones. The nice thing about Valheim building is with the beams and everything, you can kind of just keep adding stuff. If you don't think it looks right, just keep putting beams down. No one's gonna stop you. And you can eyeball them too if you think it looks a little better. Like, look at that. No one's gonna tell you no. I think it looks a little bit more like there's actual siding. Okay. That looks a little bit better. Let's see what else we can do. Unfortunately, these stairs are gonna turn green. But might be okay. You should be able... Here's my pitch, alright? Is you should be able to use beeswax or beeswax item to prevent the weathering of wooden floors. It's kind of like Minecraft with copper oxidation. Just like, you know, put some beeswax. It should be a new item, all right? Beeswax down on the stairs, and they don't get water damage. That's my pitch. It would be so good for building. All right, so we've got this, which, you know, it looks okay. It's definitely more functional than being fashionable. But this can lead us up into a whole new spot. So I guess, shoot, do we really prep this whole area? You know what, I'm gonna put it on camera. The prep will be on camera. I did get not just wood and core wood, but also some fine woods for some decorations. One thing we really haven't taken that much advantage of is the decorating and the comfort level. I know that isn't the max comfort level that we could get in there. I don't think I've placed any banners or anything like that. Plus with the iron, we've got access to a whole lot more. Like a hearth and some of those things. So that'll be cool. You know what, let's just put this in a chest, alright? Let's just, you know. Are we in build range still? Oh, surely not. Let's just put a little chest down. Put all this nonsense in there. Okay. And I think this whole area here, shoot, I don't even know exactly what I want Are we gonna build it up here and have it be like maybe a longhouse style thing? Which means we'll probably have to do a lot of reshaping. Do we want to have some of it go over here so we have a better view out to there? Because that'd be pretty nice. I think either way, I'm gonna move some of this back over to here. So when I'm building a particularly big base, I like to kind of map out, you know, well, you pick your area, you know, what do you want by it, right? What kind of things do you think are important? So the view here might be kind of important. It might be interesting to have part of it backed up against these woods. You know. And then think about, oh, well, the terrain is a certain kind of way. Do I really want to do too much terraforming? Because you can flatten out a huge area, and there are a lot of people who will do this, is take a big section of relatively flat area and completely flatten it. And then just have kind of their compound of things going on there. And that's one way to do it. But you can also just kind of, you know, flatten things out a little bit here and there, but use some of the elevation changes to your benefit. Honestly, now looking at that, I might have like a kind of a tiered garden kind of thing going on over there. But yeah, you can kind of add sort of split level housing, and or maybe that's not the right word. You can have, you know, stairs that go up in the house, and you can build your house, you know, inside a cliff, right? You can do a whole lot of stuff like that. Well, archery practice. Oop, I missed. There we go. It's just figuring out what you want to do. That also might be cool to use. Like, we can have something up here as kind of a watchtower, right? You also notice the music changes. Yeah, just incorporating different features around the area. If you've got a nice oak tree, or if you want to plant a nice oak tree somewhere, to make it a little bit more scenic, you know, just think about it. And I haven't checked recently, but I am probably going to be adding plant everything here soon, as long as the mod's updated. It usually gets updated pretty quickly. And that'll just let us plant, you know, like if we want dandelions somewhere or raspberry bushes somewhere, we can put them, you know, nearby. And yeah, it can help a little bit for farming purposes, right? But it's mostly aesthetic. If we want a shorter tree or a bush here and there, a little more free placement of things like vines and stuff like that. That's always useful. And you can get into a lot of decorating doing that too. Finding the bog witch is also going to be good because of the serving tray. It just kind of acts like a hammer, but you can place food and different dishes down. So one thing I saw, and I think it was Emma Potato who was using this, but she just built a kitchen, right? And instead of having signs for where everything was, you know, you just put a little bit on the countertop, like place it with the serving tray. So you can just look visually and be like, oh, well, that's what's in this chest, that's what's in that chest. And that's nice. It's always good to have kind of intuitive, more intuitive designs instead of like, you know, just putting signs on everything with words. Looks a little bit more natural. Okay, so if we go up a little bit. Just think about it. Okay, I'm just gonna start flattening land. We'll see where we get. Okay, this also makes it so that it's, because we've got the tree line here, or back there, more like, it is going to get darker. Who's breaking my workbench? It's gonna get darker and more shaded the later in the day it gets, so it'll be a little easier to tell when it's like evening or morning. We're not paying that much attention. On that topic, there are people who have made actual sundials. Because, you know, the shadows move dynamically with where the sun is, and you can, you know, place a bunch of beams that make shadows. So you can make clocks. And that's just kind of fun, that's just a little carryover. I don't know that any of the devs would have anticipated stuff like that. I kind of love stuff like that in games where you have so much creative freedom and there are so many kind of moving parts in a game. They can kind of mimic real life to the point where, you know, people are starting to create things in the game that make sense for, you know, the real world, but you'd have never thought to do it if you were just making a game. You know, little emergent behaviors and things like that I think are really interesting. That's part of what makes games like this really fun. One thing I just remembered randomly, alright, this is entirely unrelated, but there is on the map somewhere down here, or is it over here? I found a rock, and this is different. This is different than a stone. If you didn't know, I'm gonna have to pick turnips, it looks like. But it is different from a stone. It is a pet rock, and they only spawn a certain distance away from the center of the world, and between certain altitudes and certain biomes. I'm looking at the trader, but there is one over here that's not that far from the Elder, and I actually think I want to go and just get it real quick. And we'll probably end the episode off after that. Because do I really not have any? I don't think I need this for anything. This is gonna go in a junk chest out here. Let's head over there. And grab it. It's almost due south from here, I think, isn't it? Yeah. This is where I've been coming to farm the core wood. Most of the time you find core wood kind of between, or more in the center of Black Forest biomes. So like around the edges you get more fir trees. And you'll get some of the fir trees kind of interspersed in the middle, but around the edges, it seems to me, right, there are a lot of firs instead of pines. Makes you kind of have to go a little bit further into the biome to find, you know, core wood. And all that brings. We got a troll over there. I think this is a rock over here, though. I almost don't want to get his attention. Oh, is this it? I think this is it. Yeah, it says rock. So you'll notice that when you find other stones on the ground, we can find one of those, the little pickable ones. Come on. It's just called stone. But this one is a rock. They look a little bigger. They look a little smoother. And if you pick it up, you will notice. New build piece. Mysterious rock. Which takes a rock and a piece of coal. And it has a little face. It is a friend. That they added kind of during an April Fool's event. I think it was around April Fool's anyway. They just added this thing into the game, and it'll change its expression. If you find a couple of them, you can sit them next to each other, and they'll start making little stones, little baby stones, which is kind of funny. But yeah, their faces change. Every now and then they'll talk to you, which is really funny. And you can put helmets on them. Or at least a lot of different kinds. I don't know exactly which kinds you can put on. But they're adorable. They're great. Love them. Perfect for someone like me who usually plays solo. Okay. All right. The payoff is worth it. All right. Oh, can I put you on the... I can totally put you on the chair. That's excellent. All right. All right, mysterious rock. Your name is gonna be Dennis. What's up, Dennis? How's it going? You pet the rock, and you just get ... Is there something I can put on Dennis's head? Is happy. You good, Dennis. Where did I put that spare armor? It's over here, isn't it? Okay, we're gonna try this out. We're gonna try this out. I will probably steal the bear back if I can't put it on. Can I put a hood on you? Why am I putting it there? Nope. All right. What about this? This would be really funny. That doesn't work at all. That's terrible. I love it. So you've got Dennis here. That's cool. They just literally just glued it on top of him, which is really funny. Okay, that's perfect. Oh, did I get... Oh, I got 2 because of the double resources. We can give Dennis a friend. Hold up. Hold up. It's about to go crazy. Oh, you know what we need, though? You know what we need. Sir. Yes. We need... a little stool. Okay. And we're gonna name you Denise. D-Nice. Welcome. So we have Dennis and Denise. It's perfect. I need to get Denise a hat too. Actually, oh, I really wonder. You know what? This is entirely worth a deviation. I thought I was gonna end the episode a little bit earlier, but now I have an idea. I was gonna want one of these anyway, but now I really need to get it to see if this works because I haven't tried it yet. But over here, over by Haldor. What's up, buddy? How's Dean? How you doing, buddy? Hi there. Okay. We need to get a circlet. And actually, we'll get a Yule hat for good measure. Oh, maybe some barrel hoops. Get a few of those. That sounds good. Yeah, you know what? I agree. It is a good choice. Thank you. I've got exquisite taste. Haldor music is great. Don't die out there. Hey, I'll try. I'll try. Okay. This is potentially gold, or I'll be really disappointed if neither of these work. But we gotta. It's very important. All right. Okay, first. Yay! It does work. And it looks like it actually lights up. So notice how I'm like... It does light up. You just... Okay, hold up. I want to see if this works too. In case we don't want the light. Yeah! Okay. We'll put the circlet on there for now. Cause look how cute. Alright, that's perfect. Oh, we already had some barrel hoops, huh? I guess we got some more of them. We can probably use those in the next build to be over there. But with that, I think we'll call this one here. Hey, they're both happy. Look at that. Wow, I guess they just wanted hats, you know? Just wanted a little bit of headwear. That's all we really need. Alright, well, with that, I'm going to call it there. Have an excellent one, and I'll see you next time.